Fire them up. That's what we do here at the Andrew Gosser Show. We fire them up right here on 1039 WYAB. And we are streaming on Rumble. We are streaming on X. We are streaming on YouTube. Nobody gives a crap about Meta. And we are streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the 50,000 watt blowtorch of a signal that it is 1039 WYB, help us grow the station. Help us grow the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on X at Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. Phone lines are open today, 601-879-0002. Text line is open, 601-879-5060. And I've got Brother Rick in the studio today, back by popular demand. But it doesn't matter who the guest is or what we're talking about. The mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show is standard. We are here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Profuse are the kisses of an enemy. And I am so glad to have you here, Brother Rick. You are my friend. We don't agree on everything, but we sit there and iron sharpens iron was yesterday. And when I was reading last night in Proverbs, that was one that came up. I'm like, ooh, Rick's going to get me good. So I'm going to make sure I get this one out there. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing great, and I hope you are doing well.
Oh, I'm feeling like $1,000,000. But well, everybody seemed to like our last interaction, and I rarely have guests in the studio. Sometimes I'll bring in Blake, guest host, or something like that. But to have you back in the studio again so quick is pretty awesome. We were talking about things we wanted to talk about, and I mean, let's just start with it. I guess let's just start with China and what's going on with China.
So let me just say this: I have so much respect for you and all the other hosts. This is my second time ever been on radio.
Yep.
And so I didn't really know. The first time, I literally was like 30 minutes before the show. I got the invite. It was awesome. This time, it was a couple days, and I don't know how y'all do it.
Why is that?
Because I had days to think about what I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, my brain has been everywhere. But when it comes to the China thing, do you know that they are in control of 60 to 70% of all rare earths?
That I do. I actually thought it was higher.
Well, it does get higher. Even of the countries that they don't like say their neighboring countries mine some of the percentage of the rare earths. 99% of it eventually finds its way to China to be refined. So technically, they have their finger on 95 to 99% of all rare earths, and we have to have those for EVs, smart cars. We got to have them for data centers. We got to have them for missiles, radar, stealth,
everything.
And do you know how big of a supply that we have? We have a 60-day supply of, like, if China just says, go pound sand.
Yep.
We have a 60-day supply to figure it out before we are dead in the water.
And the thing is we were kind of bouncing it off each other off the air, but we'll say it on the air. United States has these rare earth minerals, but we're not allowing, our own government isn't allowing us to go tap into our own resources.
We can't get to them because of regulations, because of EPA, because of just cost. There's a lot of restrictions that need to be lifted in order for us to be self-sufficient. They're here, but like some of the things like iridium is found in zinc mining.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like silver is not, there's not very many silver mines. Silver is a byproduct of mining for other things. Iridium and tungsten and other things like that, they're byproducts.
Yep.
And we don't allow, we're starting to, but we're making it's very costly to mine in America.
You would think that with a president who says we need to mine our own rare earth minerals, talked about Greenland, and talked about all the places where we use these rare earth minerals, we would have a United States Congress and a United States Senate that would actively try to open that up, but that hasn't been the case, has it?
Well, it's not, and everybody is the whole reason I went down that rabbit trail at all is because everybody is screaming oil, gas this, gas that. And if they're not screaming about that, they're screaming about Israel. I'm like, there's got to be more going on in the world besides that. And July 1st, China puts in restrictions on a lot of their rare earths. We only use a handful So it's not like we need a lot, but the ones we do need, we need a lot of.
And what's really interesting about this is there are so many people who are listening to the show right now, Brother Rick, who understand, like, they don't know what the rare earth minerals are, but they know that we need them.
Right.
And, you don't see ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN, MS Now, or whoever else talking about it. You might see AON or Newsmax talk about it a little bit.
Right.
But when you listen to 103.9 WYAB, you're actually getting so much more than just entertainment. You're getting education and information.
100%.
And we need to continue to have these kind of discussions, which is why I like having you, because we can talk about oil. And I did pull it up since you brought it up. It's $73.80 a barrel for West Texas crude, and Brent crude is at $77.50. So it is coming down, but that's just such a big story, and I don't think people have the mentality. I don't think they have the brain power or the discernment to actually go into all the different things that are going there. I'm not saying you.
No. I understand, and I think we need to talk about that too, because tank bottoms. Have you ever heard that term?
Yep.
Okay, well that's coming to a thing. We are at the lowest reserve. Not to get still to go back to the rare earths, but we are at the lowest level in our reserves since the reserves were being built.
And when I was looking this up, that the United States of America has sent 40% of its reserves to our allies, because Europe would completely crash right now if it wasn't for us.
You got to understand, it's not just gasoline, it's not just diesel, it's aviation fuel too.
Oh yeah.
And without aviation fuel, you're not getting anything shipped. And we live in a country that is a on demand economy.
Yep, we're capitalism.
Right. So you start having shortages with your airlines, and you're going to have problems.
We lost one of our major producers of aviation fuel in California because of Governor Gavin Newsom shutting down that plant. And it's completely. I mean, we've got McCord Air Force Base out there. We got Edwards Air Force Base out there, Vandenberg Air Force Base out there, Point Mugu, California Naval Test Station, Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. I know I'm missing a few of them. Coronado's got an airstrip. I mean, we are sitting there and we're purposely putting these handcuffs on ourselves. We're shackling ourselves. We're enslaving ourselves to these EPA monsters, and it's holding back the quality of life here in America.
Well, it's not just doing that. I mean, you start talking about California, they've got their own oil reserves. They just shut them down. They could produce and refine their fuel right there. They could have some of the cheapest gas prices in the country, but through regulation and politics, they choose to have the highest.
Well, that's a question too that often gets brought up, is like, how come oil's now at $74 a barrel? How come the gas price isn't lower? There's a lead lag time on that, number one. We haven't really produced a lot of new gas refineries here in the United States recently. I know there's been a lot of fires at our refineries, but I've looked at it, and it's within 10% of the average annual fire. I didn't realize that refineries have as many fires as they do, dude.
Well, I could push back on that a little bit and say, on the lead lag time you're talking about, there's never a lead lag time on the price going up. It's always it's always a lead lag on the price coming back down.
That's why I always call it an oil cartel. It's
100%.
It's truly, OPEC is a cartel, and instead of dealing coke, meth, pot, ecstasy, whatever drug, heroin, they're slinging liquid dinosaur, man.
Well, once they know that you'll pay it.
Yep.
I mean, they have graphs. They have people that do these charts, and once they figure out, all right, 80% of the people are going to pay it at this price without griping, then why would they ever go lower?
They wouldn't.
It makes no sense to go lower.
I can remember gas when this was right during COVID, was at $1.19 a gallon, dude, at the Sam's Club in Madison, Mississippi.
Right.
And I could afford to drive my Tundra from Mississippi to Illinois twice a month, there and back, just to, and it was cool. But do that now, it'd be cheaper to fly. And
and that's not going to be the option here pretty soon. If everything keeps going the way it's going.
Pretty soon you're going to need work. I mean, did you ever read the book Atlas Shrugged?
I didn't.
Oh, Brother Rick, everybody listening to the show right now, Atlas Shrugged, you must go read it. Don't watch the movie. Don't subject yourself to the brain rot of the movie. Go read the book. It's by Ayn Rand. She's more of a libertarian. I would say that she's a little bit more of a doom scroller, but her writing, she wrote other books too, like Fahrenheit 451 and all sorts of. She is an incredible writer. I don't agree with everything she does, but when it comes to Atlas Shrugged and the producers just saying, I've had enough, I'm not going to do it anymore, and all the lazy folk out there who are just sitting there doing whatever they're doing, uh, they have to come to grips with how that's going to happen now that you've taxed the rich out of society, which is what is happening in like the mayor in Seattle. She's destroying that. Zorhan Mandami destroying New York's business class and environment. Uh, Brandon Adams in Chicago, Mayor Bass in Los Angeles. Even Chukwue Lumumba here in Jackson didn't do anything to bring businesses in. And I'm not saying I'm happy with what John Horn's doing, but at least he's trying to do something, which is, and that's a very dangerous thing to say in government. We have to do something. But when you have absolutely nothing where Jackson has been depleted, we have to start coming up with solutions for that. And that can lead us into whole other debates. But I want to kind of tie up the rare earth metals kind of stuff. What else do you
Well, with the rare earths, the reason they matter
Mm-hmm.
is like with the iridium and the tungsten hexafluoride, all those come out of China, and they're used in these data centers.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be used. You can't use like copper wire because copper is it's too slow a transmission. It has to be an optical transmission, which is light. It's just so much
Speed up,
faster.
yeah.
And what I'm saying is, all China's got to do is say, you know what, we're going, and they already have put restrictions on it to
Mhm.
where they won't. You have to explain to them who the end user is going to be, and they may or may not sell it to you. But if they just say, you know, hold up, well, every one of our data centers are shut down.
Would that necessarily be a bad thing?
Well, if you are on the side of, or from the viewpoint of whoever wins AI intelligence rules the world, well, then you don't want China to win it.
Well, I think AI is. I've got a biblical worldview with AI, so I think it is the precursor to everything that's going to go down. But my biggest thing with it is, and I got pushed back this morning on this. If you're listening to Clay Edwards show with myself, uh, and I can never remember the other guy's name. I'm sorry, brother. But I was talking about it. Within 5 years, Elon Musk is going to have a data center built into a starship, and he's going to be launching 2 of these a day.
Not if China says no.
Well, no, he's building his own.
I know, but he has to have those.
Yeah.
You cannot get around it. You have to have those
I,
to make the chips.
I think that the chips he's building, I think it's called the Terra Factory. It's the world's largest chip producer.
100%. I know what you're talking about.
But the thing is that's why I wanted to talk about this, is because Elon Musk needs President Trump to get these rare earths out of America or go to other places.
Australia has some, Greenland has some.
South Africa is
right.
For whatever reason, South Africa is completely loaded with gold and rare earth minerals, like huge deposits. And we've got to just get our own supply going, because the one thing I've learned, and there are a lot of people who have bet against Elon, and
that's a bad bet.
That's a terrible bet. That's a terrible bet. And so this rare earth metals is done. When we got to take our first break, Rick, but when we get back, we'll try to tie up the oil issue and move on, because I do want to talk about these judges who are issuing these crazy rules, and I also want to talk about the reflection pool in DC. Yep. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah. It's the dulcet tones of the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 1039 WYAB. Phone line is open 601 879 0002. We're talking about oil and everything that's going on there. People can talk about the military, but people don't. And we can use this to kind of jump off into what you're reading right now because Murray Thomas from Oxford just threw us a hand grenade. And
that's a mild way of putting it, man. This is what I'm reading is absolutely crazy.
Let's go there to get to here. I love that. I love going to places that people wouldn't normally go. And in the military, everybody wants to be a pilot, or everybody wants to be the captain. Everybody wants to be the leader, the commando, the whatever. But as soon as you start going through the selection process, all of a sudden you got about 95% of the people out there decide that they're going to self-remove or self-deport themselves out of the program because they don't have the stomach to do it. And that's what I feel like what's happening with the oil in the Straits of Hormuz right now. And
see, I don't agree.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about it, because I think this is somewhat tied to what Marie Thomas just posted, and it's one of those things where there's never going to be a pure answer to this unless we completely extricate ourselves completely from the Middle East. But then I look at it as whatever's going on over there is just going to continue to fester and bubble and grow and get stronger to the point to where we can't get to it and fix it.
Well, the 30,000 foot view.
Yeah.
So what she just sent you is Mississippi House Bill 761 from 2019. It's called the Israel Support Act.
Yep.
All right. So basically, I have a company, and the way I'm reading it, and I'm sorry, Maria, if I get this wrong, but it's the best I can do. If I have a company and I do any business with the state and I criticize Israel, critique them in any way, basically, I get my funding pulled. All right. So why does that matter? Well, it matters because as a free American, I should be able to criticize Canada, Mexico, Israel. I should be able to criticize my own country's government without fear of retribution
or reprisal.
Right. And I don't understand how a bill like this gets brought to vote, much less passes. I just don't see how that's constitutional.
I suffer with thinking about this because Israel is not a place; it's a people. That's the first thing. And the thing about it is that I really feel like Americans, unfortunately, our attention spans are absolute hot garbage right now because of all the scrolling we do. Yeah, exactly. and there's Israel fatigue, there's oil fatigue, there's black fatigue, there's white fatigue. I mean, people are just so tired of the constant being drummed over the head with all this negative information. They want positive stuff.
Well, the news has been negative my entire life.
Yeah.
I've said this many times. I'm like, I understand it's a 30-minute news broadcast, but can we not have 15 minutes of positive and 15 minutes of the bad things that happen? Why do I have to get browbeat with nothing but just bad news constantly?
Even the sports sections anymore, it's all about things off the court or off the pitch or off the field.
Right.
And not stuff that's, hey, this soccer player had a great thing. I mean, dude, I've got this one. This is a great segue to this. So the World Cup's going on right now, and you've got Martin Odegaard, who's the captain of the world famous Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners! He's the captain of the Norway team, and one of his prime opponents, Erling Haaland, who plays for a different team in the Premier League, is on his team. And listen to this, man. This is how Norway put it. Norway team performed anti-woke Viking Rose celebration at World Cup after being criticized by mainstream media for Viking photo shoot. Dude, they're from Norway. They're freaking Vikings.
They are Vikings.
You culturally appropriated their cane rose.
Right.
And so just listen to this, dude. They're blowing the horn. They're all sitting on the ground rowing their boat. Louder, louder, louder. A whole sea of red just rowing. What great culture. Erling Haaland. Pure joy, pure happiness. That's the kind of culture we need to celebrate.
We can't have that, though.
But we can. We just have to demand it.
No, you can have it, but you got to turn your TV off and you've got to make it.
Yep. I'll tell you what, the sooner that we get our kids off of social media, reading books, out fishing, out doing stuff. You know what I did for show prep last night after I did my
What's that?
Dude, I'm watching this guy. His name is Jacob Knowles. He's a lobster fisherman up in Boston. And he's got a series. Each episode's about 40 minutes long, 50 minutes long. But it just goes through his journey in life and how good he's got it. He's a private pilot. He flies around looking for the lobsters and the fish. He built himself. He started when he was 6 years old with his own boat, and he pulled lobster traps with his dad. Taught him the ropes and everything. And I mean, it's just like the American dream story.
Yeah.
Anybody here could do it. Now, anybody could do that, but would they do that? Or no, they won't, because they're too lazy. The work ethic is not there. And I'm not like calling out. I'm just saying the average American, dude, you bust your butt with your business.
It goes back to what you were saying a few minutes ago, if y'all can remember. But the everybody wants instant gratification.
Yep.
And if you're going to build something, then you're never going to have instant gratification. You're going to have days, weeks, months, years of scraping by. Then you're going to see it.
It's absolutely crazy. Just one more thing. These Norwegians are crazy. They bombed, not military or physically harmed, but they bombed a yoga session in Times Square.
Oh,
and they started doing the yoga. This is 26 seconds of hilariousness. They're all doing the yoga stretch. Dude, there must be 20,000 people. Maybe 40,000 people.
Use that lengthening to stretch.
There they go rolling again, dude.
Did you feel?
You know, you got the Scots drinking out Boston bars, just completely mowing them down. And you got Norway rowing all over the United States with their drum. And it's just, you love to see it. You love to see the culture influence society in a positive way.
I think I just answered my own question.
Yeah.
You said there's 40,000 people there, and then you talked about how they're out drinking the bars and empty them out. That's because everybody is gathered together with one uniting message, and it's a positive message, but it's towards the bread and circus of the games, right?
Yep, World Cup.
And I was asking, why is the news got to be negative all the time? Well, if the news actually came on and gave everybody a unifying voice, that could be problems.
Yep, they have to drive up the anger, not drive down the anger.
And divide us. There's always, you got to be on this team or that team, and you got to be with this party or that party. You got to be a Dem or Republican, and if you're independent like Tucker, now you must be squashed, and then everybody's mad at you for going out there and voicing your opinion.
Well, I talked about it yesterday. I know you didn't get to hear it because you actually work for a living, and that's all right, dude. I realize not everybody can tune into every moment of the Andrew Gosser show.
I make 90%.
Yep, but not only did Tucker quit the Republicans, but Joy Reid.
Oh yeah, she left the Democratic Party.
She left the Democrat Party, and what people are like, oh, this is great, and I'm like, this is a recipe for disaster, and it's going to allow more of these deep stater, techno-socialist, crazy terrorists into our government, because they're siloing us.
Well, his name is, I'm forgetting who is Trudeau.
Oh, from Canada?
Right. All right. So do you know how he got in power? He only got 30% of the vote, but they have subdivided all the parties up so much that he only needed 30% of the vote to win. And what they're doing here, I'm not saying Tucker's doing this. That's not what I'm saying. But the narratives are getting changed where, you were a Republican or you were a Democrat. Now you're a Republican or you're with Tucker. And all they're doing is just subdividing each section up so that eventually it's not going to be a majority rule anymore. It'll be a 30%.
Yep. Look, think about it. And I'll just use the Republican Party for my liberal listeners out there, because I don't know all the divisions of the Democrat Party, but you got the Tea Partiers, right? You got the Constitutionalists, you got the Libertarians, you got the MAGAs, you've got the pro-lifers, you got the free traders,
America Firsters,
you got the Republicans, and you got your blue blood Republicans, and you got your rhinos, and you've got, I mean, you can break down the Republican Party
100%.
into like 60 different subgroups, and you can do that for the Democrats too. I don't know them all, so please don't think that I'm attacking Democrats. I'm just saying,
that's not where my camp is.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know.
So, but here's the thing: we go into an election for national, and it's harder to bring somebody of your tribe, whatever belief system that is, to get elected at the national level. But at the local level, which you're slowly investigating and finding out, it's not difficult at all. I mean, we were talking about a race a little while ago, and we got to go to a break after this, but someone won 34 votes to 32 votes in Tallahatchie. So don't tell me that you can't go out there a year and a half before the election and get yourself a plan to figure out how many votes you're going to need and how to win. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show. I am with Brother Rick, and this is 103.9 WYAB, and we will be right back. We're in a break, brother Eric. That's why there's no audio. We're just shooting the breeze, my man. We'll be back in just a minute. And we are back here on the Andrew Gosser Show. It's Brother Rick, Andrew Gosser on 103.9 WYAB. We're just kind of bouncing all over the place. People in chat saying, hey, there's no audio, there's no audio. We turned off the microphones during the commercial break. We'll try to leave them on because we're continuing these conversations. We were talking about how AI, we're in a post-truth society, a post-reality society where people have a hard time telling what the truth is. And you had a comment on that, and I wanted to make sure that you kind of got that out there.
I had several, so I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but
let them all go.
All right. One thing. All right. So either we're going to have AI or we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened over the last week is Anthropic released one of its models. All right. And it is so good. But the problem is there was a guy in Russia who actually jailbroke it. And this is a problem because once you jailbreak it, you can get it to do anything. It can go in, it can find passwords. It can do things that you wouldn't want
AI to do.
Right. And so they banned it. The U.S. government come out and banned it. It's still available throughout the world. So it's not like we saved ourselves from anything. It's just that we don't have it. I don't know. I don't know where I land on this because one, I don't really want that out there. And two, if it's out there, then I want two of them.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
Elon always says that Grok is always searching for truth in all that it does. And it won't produce inappropriate images or acts, adult content, basically. Yes, there was that break, or someone did try to get Grok to do it, and apparently it did it like 7 months ago in France. And of course, Justin Trudeau or who's the guy over in France? Macron. That's Macron.
Trudeau's in Canada.
Yeah, Trudeau was in Canada. Macron threw a whole hissy fit about it. But the thing is that AI is coming, and we need to have our most ethical people who instill integrity, instill honor with everything that they do. Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, core values, Army too, duty, honor, country. And that's how this AI needs to work. And unfortunately, people we have this AI who are building these AIs do not have that in mind. They want to get into your passwords. They want to get to know everything about you. They want your biometrics. Dude, we were talking about rare earth minerals and smart cars. When I was in Milwaukee, I haven't even told the smart bomb story where I was infuriated at budget, but that's neither here nor there. I got one of these smart Kia cars.
Yep.
Dude, I'm sitting there trying to turn, and the car is fighting me to turn. And like, I'm freaking out. I throw on the hazard brakes. I pull over. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? The new anti-lane technology and stuff, it's sitting there shaking. And I'm sitting here going, I know I'm 54 and I'm going the speed limit and I'm right in the middle of the lane. Why is this car trying to turn? Hits the brakes all of a sudden. I'm sitting there going, I didn't even have speed or cruise control on. And it wigged out the sweet toots. It wigged out the sweet bee. We're contemplating actually taking that car back because of what it was trying to do. And this technology is coming to where using AI, using these rare earth minerals and all that, they're going to be able to say, you know what? I don't like the way Andy's driving today. We're just going to take over and pull him over and let him consider
that's already a thing. That's already out there. If your mannerisms, if you appear upset, if you or whatever, it will pull your car over until you settle down. That's already in the works. That's already coming.
Dude, there was a point to where I got so pissed off. Sorry for cussing there. That's not a bad word I have to bleep out. But I got so angry that it started asking every 5 minutes, do you want to take a break? Do you want to take a break? Do you want to take a break? No, I want to drive my car and I want you to shut up.
Yeah. And yes, I want to do 85.
Yeah. So, well, you don't want to do 85 in Wisconsin. Let me tell you why. The state troopers up there have a Visa machine in their car.
Oh, they charge you right there?
Oh yeah, in the minimum charge is about $275 for the minimum. So I can assure you, I was going. For number one, I didn't have the cruise control on, but I was going about 77 or 78. I might have touched 80 once or twice, but I was very cognizant of that. And my son, who lives up there, is like, Dad, you don't want to speed here. And he's got a company truck with a governor on it, so he's like, I can't get above 75. So I'm like, yeah, that's good to know. But I mean, it was beautiful, nice interior and everything. This Kia, whatever the heck it was an SUV, great gas mileage, but having it try to control you and what you were doing. And I'm not sure it's going to be that big of a deal for the Gen Zs or the Gen As, but for us Gen Xers and millennials and boomers, don't tell us how to drive our car. We'll drive our car how we want to drive our car.
Well, have you been down the rabbit hole of they're trying to get rid of all the older cars that don't have technology built into them?
Absolutely.
So do you remember Obama? He had cash for clunkers, right?
Yep.
And what they would do is they would give you cash for your old car, and then they would come back and they would actually pour metal into the engine block to destroy the motor. So even if you found it, it was trash. And I remember back then something just rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm like, this makes no sense. And then, years later, obviously, now all these junkyards are randomly catching fire. And so even if you decide that you don't want this technology in your vehicle, and you're like, you know what, I'm going old school, I'm going to do a carburetor, I'm going to do this, that, and other, that's fine. Good luck getting parts, because the government is literally going after them with the cash for clunkers. And then I guess bad luck, everything else is burning up. I mean, I don't know. It's just
there are a lot of fires. I haven't seen as many fires in our agricultural plants lately. I think they had such a big burnout, they had to let that kind of die down for a little bit, so to speak.
Yep.
But oil refinery, there's one in New Orleans that caught fire a couple months ago, and it's already repaired. That's the one thing, because I go to church with a guy who's an oilman, and he's like, Andy, you would be so shocked if you knew how it was, and these things get repaired quick. And I did not know that. I was sitting there going off on this, and like, man, this is because, I mean, one oil refinery in the United States that goes down, our gas is shot.
That's what we said earlier. All they have to have is news of one getting shut down or news of one catching fire, and fuel shoots up, regardless of supply. The price goes up because they can.
And then they feed on the anxiety of humanity,
right?
Where, people who went through World War II, the Korean War, even Vietnam, their anxiety levels don't get raised as much as someone, even Gen X. We get amped up pretty quick. I mean, you heard about it when I was talking about my stupid rental car trying to tell me how to drive. We get a little bit more amped up. And our kids now, I think, like the Weather Channel app, that's the worst thing that ever happened to kids, man, because you go read those headlines in your Weather Channel app, and it's all doom and gloom. You're pushing Captain Planet down their throats, and the next thing you know, they think the world is going to die in 5 years, no matter what. And then we get the Greta Thunbergs of the world.
And what's crazy about it is, if you do any investigation into what they're saying, it's almost immediately blown out of the water.
Yep.
Carbon dioxide is the God's gift to this world.
That's how our trees and plants grow.
Without it, we don't survive. We have to have it. If you plan on eating anything, meat, vegetables, anything, you got to have carbon dioxide, and it greens the earth. So they're like, Bill Gates has a plan to cut down all these trees and then bury them. And then he's got this big machine that sucks all the carbon dioxide out of the air and pumps it down mine shafts.
Yep.
It's just crazy.
Dogfish is checking in and is saying, we don't need AI. The powers that be want AI to monitor us. And dude, that's exactly what
I can believe that.
Yeah, Dogfish, you're spot on, man. And real quick, shout out to Bruce, man. iGear Optical was a longtime sponsor of the show, and then they went to go sponsor Mississippi State baseball. And they're coming back July 1st, and they're going to be doing a big back to school special. We can't wait to talk about it. We'll get Bruce to talk about it a little bit. But I know that there are a lot of listeners who listen to the Andrew Gosser show, like iGear Optical, and I'm grateful that they're coming back, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a great partnership.
Yeah, well, we need some clear vision in today's society.
Yeah.
So, you know, that could be a really good thing.
You want to hear something freaky, and this is, you know what? Let's take this break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk about clear vision. Bring that up because if you think that the human eyesight is good now with corrective glasses, wait till you hear what's about to be rolled out, and it should scare the living heck out of y'all. You are listening to the Andrew Gossett Show. I am with Brother Rick. This is 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back.
That's
Let's
fine.
just talk during the break. I just have to bounce back and forth and make
Yeah.
sure that I'm listening to when the commercials come in. But what's coming up with? Are you familiar with Neuralink from Elon?
Oh yeah.
They now have eye implants that they're getting ready to test out that give you like James Webb Space Telescope eyes.
Wow.
And they're already talking about putting it in operators and doing stuff like that. So that's
And
what we're
see, I go straight to nefarious reasons that why that's not
Oh,
good.
dude. I mean, you're talking cyborgs at that point.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, and I mean, this is real stuff happening. You can go look it up on X and all that kind of stuff. I've got to turn off the microphones, guys, because I got to listen for when we're coming back from commercial. Because as important as the live stream is, this is a radio station and we got to make money. We'll be right back. Yeah, we're in a commercial break. We'll be right back. And we are back here at the Andrew Gosser Show, final segment of the first hour. Time flies when we're having fun, brother.
Man, I had no idea. I looked down. I thought it was 30 minutes after, and here we go with the whole hour.
Yep. You're listening to Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. And look, we were talking about how the government's doing wild and crazy things. Uncle Elon is at it again. He's got these new devices for people who are born blind so that they can see if they have an optical nerve and it's just their eyeball that's jacked up. They can put in a mechanical eyeball to give them normal human vision. 2020. But let's go full Billy Mays. But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have humans with infrared being able to see in the infrared.
Why stop there?
Radio waves, X-rays,
night vision,
lasers.
I mean, where are we stopping?
We are literally at that point to where you're going to start seeing cybernetic enhancements. And everybody's saying, oh, Andrew, you're giving Elon too much credit. I've watched since 2002 people poo-poo Elon.
It's a bad bet.
I got kicked out of Congress by Bill Posey's chief space staffer for saying that Elon Musk was going to land his rockets on ships. And they literally laughed me out of the office, escorted me out, like, get out. 3 months later, guess what? We landed on a ship, and I was right out there with a big flipping picture of a rocket sitting on the ship. And his name was Robert LeBranch. And I'm like, yeah, remember when you laughed me out?
Told you.
Yep.
Well, see, why are they going to stop with vision? Now we're going to have hearing, super hearing.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, Neuralink is going to do a lot of great stuff for people who are paralyzed and, you know, never had the ability to walk or move their arms. That's all coming back.
And if you don't think they're doing this with the military, you're crazy.
Oh, they already are. They're doing
super soldiers. Yeah.
Disc replacement for airborne troops. They're actually doing it. I'm actually going to look at it getting that done today because I'm tired of getting these shots in my back, you know, every 5 or 6 months to alleviate the pain for 4 of the months. But then like the last month and a half, you're just sitting there going, oh my God. And of course they want to give me the marijuana and the pain pills, and
that could make for a good show.
No, that would not be a good show. Did you see me actually think about that for a second?
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of examples of people getting on radio stations. Not this radio station. We don't do that here at 103.9 WYAB. That doesn't happen here. But there's plenty of examples where DJs or hosts come in completely tweaking, and you know it. Or go look at some podcasts, man.
Oh yeah, definitely all over X.
Yeah, my goodness, yeah. You know that's another crazy thing I did for show prep last Saturday. My back was hurting, so I just spent the day with my heating pad and my vibrating lazy boy, and just sat there and because the vibration really does great things for my back, and I'm grateful for it.
Look into red light therapy; it's a real thing.
Oh, I've got it. But you would be surprised. I let the algorithm take me down a dark road. And I just let the X algorithm, and man, before you knew it, I was seeing fights. I was seeing racial crimes and other types of crimes that you would never think would be on X, but it's out there. So you gotta.
You know what's crazy though on the algorithm?
Yeah.
If you're scrolling through, and it's watching your eyes.
Yep.
You can spend a little bit too much time on one thing, and it will change your entire feed.
Dude, tell me about it. Tell me about it. It's not just X. It's YouTube. It's Rumble.
It's all of them.
It's all of them. They've got it figured out. I need to take a piece of tape and put it right over my laptop right here so it can't watch me.
That's the first thing I do when I buy a computer.
Yep. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, this is 1 hour in the can. We still have another hour to go right here on the Andrew Gosser Show. That is Brother Rick. I am Andrew Gosser. This is 103.9 WYB. We'll be right back. Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 1039 WYAB, where we're streaming on Rumble, we're streaming on X, we're streaming on YouTube. No one cares about Facebook, and we're streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the 50,000 watt blowtorch of a signal that is 1039 WYAB, please help us grow the station. Like, share, and subscribe to the stream. Follow me on X. It's just at Andrew Gosser, ANDREWGASSER. Appreciate that. That's where I share a lot of the stories that we used during the program to get out there. And I want you to trust me, but I want you to verify me. That would be great. Then let's see what else we got. If you want to be part of the program today, I know there's been a couple callers that call in during the commercial break. I don't want to talk during the commercial break. I want to talk during the radio show. What makes it so fun? And don't worry, no reason to be bad. No, you notice Rick and I, we don't agree on everything, but there's no yelling or shouting or insulting language or anything like that. No need to get hostile. Just come on and make a cogent point. Remember in high school they had speech debate and speech that you had to go through.
Prove your point.
Prove your point. But if you want to be part of that program, 601-879-0002. Text line is open at 601-879-5060. Yep. And no matter what's going on with the show, the mission of the show is standard. We are here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. Yep. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word incites anger. And Brother Rick, there's so much going on, and we both kind of agreed we want to just let the Israeli stuff kind of go, because we can get down our biblical worldview.
Oh, there's enough of that online for everybody. If that's the boat you want to jump on, it's not hard to find.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do that. But what I do want to get into is these Supreme Court decisions and these federal courts jumping in and trying to screw up everything that President Trump is trying to do. And what we're finding is these kings, I can't call them kings and queens in black because they wear their black robes. They think that they're above everybody else, and they look down on us peasants.
Well, we're living in idiocracy. Yep. And if y'all haven't seen that movie, it's a horrible movie, but it's worth watching. But I don't understand this. Maybe you can explain it to me. Mm-hmm. A federal judge can come out and give a ruling and shut down something the president did nationwide.
Yep.
And everybody accepts it. But then another federal judge can come out and say, nope, that Judge A did not have the authority to do a nationwide ruling.
Yeah.
Okay, which one wins? Because they're going to go with whichever one they want.
Well, it's got 3 levels, right? You got the federal level, the appellate level, and then the Supremes. And the thing about it is we live in a high trust society, right? Where we have high trust in our judges that they're not going to do legislation from the bench, but the left has completely blown that out of the water.
They 100% do it from the bench.
And that's how they do it. I mean, that's how we get these crazy rulings with these killers. 6 months in jail, 2 years probation, and then they're out 6 months, 3 days later, and they've done another murder. And you're like, what's going on here? Well, I felt bad for him because he was only 17 at the time. And so we tried him as a juvenile, and people don't want that.
No, what drives me nuts is whenever you have somebody do a crazy killing, and then they get let out because they're not competent to stand trial. But then you have somebody else do a white collar crime or do something that bucks the system a little bit, and they throw the book at them. You can get longer in jail for tax evasion. You can get longer in jail for drinking and driving than some of these people are getting for rape and murder.
You're incompetent to stand trial, but you're competent enough to be the president of the United States.
Right.
What they did with Joe Biden. Couldn't send him to trial for his actions because he didn't know what he was doing.
But he can rule the world.
Yep. So the Rastafarians tried to take Texas to court over a freedom of religion type of thing, and the Supreme Court said, nope, sorry, you got to have your religion, but they don't have to cater to you. And I think that's great. Supreme Court kills suit claiming Cisco's technology helped China persecute Fulon gang members. And here's another thing. These computer companies are developing all this technology, and they are. I'm not saying that they're altruistic, that they're doing it for the right reasons, but the reasons they developed it were for the right reasons. You can just easily manipulate it to go do something else.
Well, Google's main motto when they first started was "Do no evil."
Yep.
And now you look at where they're at.
Now it's like these anti-Second Amendment people who are going after the people who manufacture the guns and manufacture the ammo and trying to blame them for the murders. When if I have one of my weapons in here, I should call them a firearm, but I'm still military, so they're and I could put it right here on this desk. Now I wouldn't have it pointed towards you or pointed towards me, but I could point it there, and we could look at that for time immemorial, and it's never going to shoot anything.
It's not going to do anything.
Nope.
No more than your phone's going to beat me over the head.
Yep, or a knife.
It's the actions taken by the person, and see, the problem is, like, whenever they sued Remington, it's not that Remington's not going to win the lawsuit. That they had nothing to do with what their property. It's the trial is the punishment.
The process is the punishment,
right?
And they will sit there and do that. And everybody was like, well, Trump got all these convictions, and then they all get overturned. If that was anybody else besides Elon Musk or maybe Bill Gates, you would be cooked. You would not have the ability to have the type of defense, which just goes to show you our whole judicial system is on its head right now. It's just absolutely insane. There are a bunch of more rulings that the United States Supreme Court refused to take up, which are good because the appellate courts overturned the federal court. And so common sense is going to rule the land. People don't like me giving credit to the Mississippi GOP, but we got to give credit to the Mississippi GOP. They took this mail-in ballot issue. We could have solved that here in the state. We could have just passed a law and it would have been done and we would have fixed it. But we wanted to have Mississippi law be transferable to Arkansas, to California, to Wisconsin. So we took it to the Supreme Court and we won. So good on Mike Hurst, chairman, Mississippi GOP. Good on Spencer Ritchie, attorney for Mississippi GOP. Good on Pete. And I can never remember Pete's last name, but he ran Hinds County for Pete Perry. That's who it was. Thank you, Texter. Good on Pete Perry for doing that. And we have to. You might not agree with them all the time, but when we do something good, my gosh, do you have to be so set in your ways that you can't admit something is good?
Well, nobody sees the big picture. They see their talking point being disproven, and they just get angry. Like what I just heard you talk about how we ran this up to the Supreme Court, but in California, you can use a gym membership.
Yes,
you can use employer ID. It doesn't have to be a valid employer ID. It could be from years ago. You can use all those to vote. I went to the bank the other day to do something, and I had to show 2 valid IDs. Yep. They had to be state issued IDs to just do some simple banking.
It's ridiculous.
If it's harder to bank than it is to vote, then we got a problem.
Yep. And you want to know what? And I know that the Mississippi Democrats listen to this show. I know that there's a lot of liberals who listen to this show. And never once have they called me up asking for help to get somebody registered to vote. Because if you live in Mississippi in today's day and age, you can get registered to vote. Secretary White does a great job. We've got all the things in place. It might take you a little bit of time to do it, but that's not a problem. Then they're saying that, with the Save America Act, well, women who get married might have their votes not count. That is completely not true. As a poll worker, we have it happen all the time. We cast an affidavit. Now you're going to have to go in and set an appointment to get your driver's license update. You're going to have to bring in your marriage license. You're going to have to be a responsible adult. I know that for some people, adulting is hard.
Yeah.
Holding down a job is hard. Work is difficult. You don't get to sit there and go to your favorite Starbucks and get your cafe Motalaca or whatever. I don't drink coffee.
I don't either.
21 years in the military. I could count on one hand the times I've had coffee. I wasn't a dipper or a smoker or anything. No tattoos. Weird cat for being in the military so long, but hey, it just is what it is. But these people, get back to it, they don't want to take any personal responsibility. They don't want to show any initiative.
Well, they want it on demand. People don't want to put in effort for anything. That's why you don't see gardens. That's why you don't see people raising animals.
Yep.
That's why you don't see, a lot of things that we used to when we were growing up that our grandparents did. It takes effort to do things that matter.
Yep. Everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants to have that $100,000
Yeah.
Instagram account or that million subscribers on YouTube.
I think one thing that we've really got to change about our society when it comes to influencers, OnlyFans. I think that
OnlyFans.
destroyed a generation.
Oh, it destroyed a generation of women because, dude, we're two men. We're in our
Oh yeah.
We're over the hill. It's fair to say. At least I am, and I don't want to be caught anywhere near an OnlyFans chick.
Well, I don't either.
If I was single, I'd be like, "You're what? Oh heck no! I don't want none of that disease, rottenness, lock."
I've seen a lot of things.
Don't judge me.
Online where women are coming out and saying that they go to the bars where they used to meet guys.
Mm-hmm.
Guys don't even talk to them if they're even there. It's guys. It's so easy just to open your phone.
Yep.
And get instant gratification that they're not even going out and trying to meet chicks, and it's leading to a decline in the population.
It absolutely is. And you know, Uncle Roger, he's a Asian comedian I listen to, but he jokes on OnlyFans all the time, and it is, the jokes are funny, but I tell the fathers who are listening, the grandfathers who are listening, the aunts, the uncles, the moms, tell your daughters that getting on OnlyFans for a couple $100,000 when you're 18 is not going to be worth it.
Well, it goes back to the Bible.
Yep.
You can gain the world and lose your soul, and for what? You know, it doesn't matter if you make that $1 million. I mean, if you have no self-worth,
yep,
then you have nothing.
And it gets back to how our society is completely being reprogrammed to where we're thinking that women can do anything men can do.
They can't.
They can't. It's biologically impossible. But women have this amazing ability that men can't do, which is produce life.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's changing. I think that narrative is being pushed really hard that women are equal. But, you know, I talk with my wife all the time and we make it a joke where, I don't know, say we're having to move some concrete or whatever.
Yep.
And I'm like, babe, I've already moved 3. How come you've only moved 1?
Yep.
I'm like, equal opportunity, baby. Come on.
Yep.
Get your other bag. She's like, I don't want, that's not my role.
Yeah.
You know,
good for her to stand up to you like that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, women have to realize that they have very particular skill sets that men can't do, and men have a lot of skill sets that women can't do.
But that's what makes you a team.
Yep. And that's why God made a man and a woman. But I digress. I mean, when I think about it, how many miles of road in Mississippi has been paved by an all-women crew?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say none.
Maybe 0.1 mile,
maybe.
All-women crew.
It's got potholes.
And that's since we started doing road paving. And the truth of the matter is it's predominantly a male job. Men are naturally more physical. It's just how God made us programmed.
But see, that leads me down a whole nother path of government interference where you've almost got to have a woman as the leader of the company to get the contract because they want to diversify. I don't care if you're black, white, man, or woman. If you're the best, you're the best. That's just what it is.
Dude, that's why I love the military so much, dude. When we were doing our thing, no one was sitting there going, did we meet our diversity quota? Do we have a black male and a Indian female on our team? And is the CEO a white woman?
Look, if I'm kicking the door, I don't care what you are next to me, as long as you got my back and you're the best of the available group.
And you actually know how to shoot and know what the heck we're doing.
Right.
Because there are people and military dudes, we've seen it where somebody like is on the team or in the formation or whatever it is, and you're just like, this dude is a liability. This dude is a liability. Brother Rick, we got to take a break. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back.
Information that we've gathered, there appear to be multiple violations that
you know why God made man first and woman second.
One is information has been provided to investors that appears to be
the fuck out of here. You're really not welcome in this state or this country.
You are wearing scrubs. You work with
It
people
doesn't
of all
matter.
culture.
What matters is that you worship a terrorist who is a warlord, a pedophile, and Islam is a terrorist organization.
Yeah,
not a
because you're
religion.
not educated
Not a
about
religion. I'm very educated on this subject.
No, because you're obviously.
Listen, you need to leave. You're not welcome here.
We are
This
welcome
is not a
here.
Muslim country. This is a Christian country, and
Stop
you need to
looking
leave.
at her like that. Please.
You need to leave. Get the fuck out of here. You're really not welcome.
And we are back at the Andrew Gosser Show. We might step in it right here. I'm not gonna lie.
I got my boots on.
And we got to make sure that I got the dump button ready to go. Brother Clay talked about it on his show about this woman in Texas who was confronted by a couple of Muslim women. And I got this clip here. I had to clip it a little bit because I don't want the curse word. But listen to this.
You're really not welcome in this state or this country.
You are wearing scrubs. You work with
It
people
doesn't
of all
matter.
culture.
What matters.
It doesn't matter whether she's wearing scrubs. Who wears scrubs? Dental hygienists, nurses, doctors.
Yep.
Smart to me. What are you wearing? A hijab and a burqa? You're not even allowed to go to university in most Muslim countries.
What matters is that you worship a terrorist who is a warlord, a pedophile, and Islam is a terrorist organization.
She's totally right. The Prophet Muhammad was given a 6-year-old girl and he deflowered her at the age of 9. Prove me wrong. And the thing is that we have so many Americans who don't have spine like this woman to stand up against this garbage. I mean, we had 5 anti-Sharia laws in the Mississippi State House and good sponsors, single committee, Judiciary B in the House. And we had Republicans of all flavors. Remember how I was talking about the silos?
Yeah.
We had the Tea Party MAGA dudes. We had the old establishment blue bloods. You had one state rep who would be considered a quote unquote rhino. I don't like using that word, but much more moderate Republican. We had all the things. We had doctors, female OBGYNs who were coming in saying that they were seeing mutilated Muslim women who had surgery to remove certain things that deny them pleasure from certain acts.
You start going down that rabbit hole, and it's a extremely crazy viewpoint.
So I should just let this thing play, but I'm gonna kind of edit it because if there's a bad word, I gotta hit the dump button. But here, let's go.
Yeah,
Not
because
a
you're
religion.
not educated
Not a
about
religion. I'm very educated on this subject.
No, because you're obviously not.
You need to leave. You're not welcome here.
We are
This
welcome
is not a
here.
Muslim country. This is a Christian country. And
Stop
you need to
looking
leave.
at her like.
No, we're gonna look at you for the freaks that you are. And you can sit there. If you were talking like that to a man or a woman and you're in any Muslim country, you would be getting struck down. And you know what? I did bring up a couple of different noticeable quotes from the Quran. And one of the things for show prep that I do, I listen to God Logic. I'm telling everybody, whether you are a believer or not, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Jew, always sit there and go and watch different people. I watch the Muslim Dawa guys. I watch the Christian debaters. I watch the Jewish debaters. And you learn so much about this. That girl she was actually a massage therapist.
And she got fired.
And now her GoFundMe is over $255,000. And I'm not saying that you should necessarily go
Follow
ahead,
her footsteps. Yeah.
and do that. But if you do feel like you need to donate to this woman, and she's going to find another job, you can guarantee that someone's going to hire her back.
She'll be on a talk show before you know it.
It'd be on a talk show. Yeah, but I want her to be able to go ahead and have an ability to get a job and to be the example. There was a curse word in the beginning there. I don't know if she said that or if that was one.
I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell either. So, but there is all sorts of stuff here, and I'm looking for a very specific Quran verse, and it basically says that men are allowed to strike women, and
well, part of their religion that I don't understand.
Oh, here it is. This is from the Quran 434. It's called the marital discipline. Men are in charge of women by right of what Allah has given one over the other and what they spend for maintenance for their wealth. So righteous women are devotedly obedient, but those wives from whom you are fear arrogance, first advise them. Then if they persist, forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. Dude, take that to an American. Go bring that up in front of some magic judge and say, well, the Quran says I'm allowed to strike my wife.
But see, what you don't understand is even in Texas, they've already got court systems set up.
Yeah.
That they don't even use our court system. They go to their own court system.
They have private Sharia law.
Right.
Abbott busted 2 of them, but apparently there's more of them.
Oh, there's many of them. But they're in Minnesota, they're in Texas, there's in New York. They're playing the call to prayer
in Times Square.
That
is just beyond me. And I bring this up here, and I know that the other radio stations and talk shows won't talk about this because they're worried about their ratings and their sponsors. And I'm so grateful to all the WYAB sponsors who trust me enough to allow me to talk about stuff like this. And there's never any retribution. We've got the best sponsors and we've got the best listeners. But if we don't talk about this here in Mississippi now, you would never think it would have happened in Texas. Now, you could have said, okay, New York, that's a left loony state. Minnesota, left loony state. But Texas is not left loony.
But you got to look at the big picture. 20 years ago, when they told us we had to go over to Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan and all that stuff, we have to go over there and fight them over here so we don't fight them here, right? Well, all we did was went over there and ticked them all off and then opened the borders. If you look at the big picture, opened the borders and brought them all in. So now the same people that we were fighting over there are setting up court systems and setting up loudspeakers and taking over our cities.
Yep. And we're sitting there like, again, it's a high trust society.
Right.
Never mind that half the people voting in these elections are here illegally and shouldn't be voting in the first place. And that's how they won the election. We're bending over. We are so fascinated with our cell phone devices. Texter saying, are you actually quoting the Quran? Yes, I am. And if you want to go ahead and look it up, it is in the Quran 434 on marital discipline. You could call in and read it for me if you think I'm misquoting it. But I know I'm not, because I got a screenshot of it right here. And during the break, I'll make sure to put it on my X account so that people can read it too. I think some of these feminazis who are so worried about their birth rights and birth control and all this reproductive rights need to take a serious look at what they're aligning themselves with.
Well, you've got to turn off the TV and the scrolls and stuff and understand what you're actually trying to sponsor. A lot of these LGBTs are saying that, we've got to have Muslims and they're right and they're wrong. I'm sorry, but if you go to their country, they're going to throw you off a building.
Oh, I say that all the time. And you know what? Crickets from the LGBTQ community, crickets. But you see these LGBTQ for Palestine, and there's a couple videos where they actually go over to Palestine and then they find out that they're gay and they get beat to heck. And they're all of a sudden like, wait, I support you. No.
And what's crazy about it is whenever some of these people get picked up to be deported or whatever, like in Minnesota, excuse me, they'll claim that they're gay. And then they can't be deported because if they get deported back to their home country, they'll be killed. So they're not, but they claim it, and then we just let them go.
We have so many issues that we need to fix here at home, whether it be the fraud issues, whether it be the illegal immigration issue.
How many kids' hospitals could we have built with state of art technology with the billions with a B of dollars that were fraudulently stole out of just Minnesota itself?
I was telling Brother John the other day, we don't agree on much, but we have honest conversation. I was like, trillion. It's
Yeah.
at least $1 trillion. And he asked, was that just Minnesota? I'm like, no, that's the whole United States. But that's $1 trillion a year.
But that's your money and my money.
And you know what we could do to Jackson, Mississippi?
You could plow the whole thing down and rebuild it.
And it'd be totally good. But someone would be upset, like Gregory Thomas or whatever his name is tomorrow, saying, well, I didn't get my NFL stadium down in the Delta.
It doesn't even make sense.
I know.
Think about it.
And that's the thing that I'm trying to get at is we've got so much fraud, waste, and abuse. People are so angry that we can't sit down and talk to each other. And he texts me every once in a while. But if you lie to me about your name and lie to me about the car I drive and everything, I just don't have time for it.
But are you angry by design? And that's what I've been trying to look at. If you're angry about your team, if you're angry about not getting your stadium, if you're angry about, then you never, if everybody is so angry that you can't sit down in a room and say, look, you like the color red and I like the color blue, but we got to worry about this white streak going down the middle of the wall. We got to worry about the water leak. We got to worry about the roads. Me and you'll argue about the other stuff whenever we get to a place of luxury where those things actually matter. Right now, we've just got to fix us. We got to fix the community. We got to come together and save our country.
And we got to take a break, but I want people to think about this. It's not even what the Democrats are doing to our major metropolis now. They're the Democratic socialists. They're not Democrats. They're
not hiding it.
They're just socialists and communists. They're destroying New York, Chicago, LA, Seattle, San Francisco.
And who's going to save it?
Dude, those jobs, that's never coming back. That took a century to build, and they're wiping it out in a decade. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 1039 WYAB. I'm with Brother Rick. And Brother Junk checks in on the chat and says, if we can't pass a law that says you have to be a citizen to vote, then we are done as a country. I would say we would be pretty cooked.
Yeah.
So, Brother Junk, let me ask you this. I did some show prep. You know, people just think you come in here and you just hit the button, Brother Rick, and you just start going to town and you just talk. But you got to do some show prep. So, my show prep is I scanned the Mississippi GOP X account at MSGOP, and I asked, has MSGOP posted about the Save America Act? And guess what? Has the Mississippi GOP talked about the Save America Act?
Not that I've heard of.
Nope. I searched their posts for the exact close variations like Save America Act with no spaces, and broader Save America mentions. Nothing matches the legislative act that is the same. And it goes on, and I said it concise. So that's like the concise way of talking. So then I was like, has Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker posted on the Save America Act? Nope. Roger Wicker has not posted on it once. Not once. And not only did I check at Senator Wicker, but I also checked at Roger Wicker. So I checked them both to make sure. And I went back as far as January, me scrolling, but Grok went all the way back to when the count began. So everything I'm saying is from January. So then I said, okay, let's see what Cindy Hyde-Smith's doing. I get a lot of garbage for supporting her, but I think that where she is at her station, we could be in a lot worse situation with somebody else, and I'm fine with Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, has she posted on the Save America Act? The sources say yes. She did so 2 times, once in February and once in March. Now, to be fair to Senator Roger Wicker, I did jump by this, and I do like being fair. He is a co-sponsor, but he's never made a public speech about it. He's never been on Fox News. He's never been on anything.
But on something like this, isn't silence the same thing as opposition?
That's how I look at it. You know, when it comes to passing bills that you're excited for, you normally want to go out and talk about it. Now, there are some instances where you're doing a bill and the less visibility on it, the better. We're going to, and I voted against this, so I'm fine with it. But they wanted to raise the water rates in McHenry County. And I'm like, no, I'm voting against it. And everybody was just trying to tuck it into appropriations bill. And I'm like, what about this? And the thing was, this wasn't like a penny a gallon or a penny per 100 gallons. This was like 15-cent hike on the tax. And it was bad. So there are times where, you know, maybe you don't want it to get your way across. I'm not saying the bill has to be necessarily nefarious or not, but I didn't do that. And then I did not check Congressman Michael Guest, Trent Kelly, or Mike Easel, or Benny Thompson, because it's already passed the House, and it's where it's at.
But why would, I guess whenever I look at these issues, what I try to figure out is, why would you be opposed to it? Why would you be quiet on it? What's in here that you don't like? Because what this does is it requires ID.
Mm-hmm.
It requires the voter rolls to be purged.
Yep.
It basically just makes voting by mail harder to do. Not impossible, but harder.
Yep.
It cleans up our elections, from what I can read about it.
Yep. So
if you're not for that, then either you don't think you can win fairly, or I don't know.
It looks like that. And what I wanted to say about the Save America Act, because this was like one of the big issues. This and data centers were the big issues that I get a lot of feedback on. Is there were a lot of people who were worried about our military troops deployed downrange and overseas having their vote count because it's voting by mail, and it's absolutely protected. And I don't mind the early voting where it's like, you know what? Election day is November 4th. I've got to be in New York on November 3rd. I'm not going to be here. I got my plane ticket. I go in to the county clerk saying, look, I'm not going to be in the state. I need to vote. Why? Business travel. Boom.
I don't mind early voting.
No, I don't mind either. I don't like the mail-in voting.
But I think I just figured it out.
What?
So one of the things that it would change, penalties on election officials.
Mhm.
It creates criminal penalties up to 5 years if you commit errors when counting the votes. I wouldn't want to vote myself into jail.
No. Wait. Say that again one more time.
So part of this bill is there's penalties on election officials. It creates criminal penalties up to 5 years for officials who have registration errors.
Oh, you mean like the election commissioners in the county would be held accountable?
Right. This has accountability to the people that count the votes,
Mhm.
who take the votes, who oversee the voting areas. It holds them at account for what they're doing.
I think we need that. You know, nothing ticked me off more in 2020 than watching Georgia being stolen, right?
Oh, you mean with the busted water main that didn't happen?
Well, no, when those two ladies went underneath the table and started bringing out ballots.
Oh,
of
yeah, and
who's-
then recounting and
Yep.
recounting and recounting the same
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely insane to me. And we, again, we're a high trust society, ladies and gentlemen. The government would never cheat in an election in the
Oh,
United
never.
States. That's what happens in these third world countries like
Congo and
Colombia and Venezuela. And wait, we just had free elections there and the right won overwhelmingly.
yes.
And Cuba's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Cuba is coming too.
So do you think Trump's really gonna, on the way back from that over there, there's rumors he's gonna swing by Cuba and liberate Cuba?
I think that we've already sent the CIA in there. We've already sent our Secretary of State Marco Rubio over there.
Do you even know why we're mad at Cuba?
We're mad at Cuba because we screwed up when we were trying to overthrow Fidel in 59
or 59 or 60? Yeah.
60. JFK was in office, so it had to be after he got elected president, and screwed the pooch on that mission. We didn't have Delta. We had Frogman. We didn't have SEAL Team 6 though. And we screwed up that whole operation, and they were mad at us. And,
yeah, I mean, I understand that they had the missiles, you know, the Cuban Missile Crisis. I get it, but that was like 60 years ago. I mean,
I mean, people can hold grudges forever. Look at the Hatfields and McCoys.
They're still. I've been to West Virginia. They are still mad at each other.
I mean, so for me, you know, I get why it's that way, but they are a perfect example of communism and socialism. And, you know, those people want to be liberated. And now that they've got their money cut off from Iran and from Venezuela,
and their oil's cut off,
and now all of a sudden they've got to play ball. And I think you're going to see the quality of life in Cuba completely turn itself around. I think will it be the 51st state? No, I don't think so. But I do think it'll be a territory like Puerto Rico or Guam, and you will see people that whole quality of life is going to improve down there. They're going to get real hospitals, real roads. You want to talk about going to get some cars off the grid,
right? That's where they're at, right there.
They're all down in Cuba, and people are already lining up to get them out and buy them. Collectors, and for as old as they are, they're in really great shape.
I mean, because they don't have a choice but to repair what they've got
and wash them with the salt air and everything. You know, you'd think the corrosion would be pretty bad on that, but you know, I do think that that's going to be one of the shoes to fall. And I mean, for everybody who's whining and complaining about Trump, his list of accomplishments are impressive, and some of them are to be determined yet. I could count 2 failures: Kristi Noem, Payam Bondi.
You can add a couple more on there with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino.
I have a little different view on that, but
okay,
I can't. The reason I can't talk about it is because I know people who are there, and without.
Well, I don't, so I can't.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just.
They were supposed to go in there and demolish.
Yep.
All these 3-letter agencies that are crushing the American people, and what they do, they went in there and said, "Oh, I saw the files. Epstein killed himself."
What you saw there was an absolute. Honestly, it is a failure of President Trump putting in people into those 2 positions, specifically Homeland Security and DOJ, and not having control there. But I am not. I know how hard it is to get rid of bureaucrats inside of the machine.
It's almost like they don't have a boss.
Dude, I was the boss and I fired people and I was forced to take them back. And everybody knew they were bad. Everybody knew that it was garbage, but yet the court made me take it back. They didn't have law in the books to make me take it back, but the very next session, you'll never be surprised what came out of new laws to make me take them back. And I was just sitting there going, my God, it's hard to do that. Dude, we were up against the break. Dude, we got to take a break. You are listening to Andrew Gossip Show on 103.9 WYAB. Be right back. Oh yeah, welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show. My, how the time flies when we're having fun, huh, Brother Rick?
Man, I just looked down and I was like, man, I've got like 5 minutes left. That's crazy.
It goes by so quick, and really, I mean, the conversation is really good. The dialogue is really good. There were a few phone calls in there. I didn't take them, but again, I don't want to take people who lied to me, and calling during the break kind of sucks because we want to hear you guys get your opinions on the air too. But this is the last segment of the hour. You got anything about anything that we talked about?
Now we've covered so many things that I mean, really, we could talk about door hinges and it would be covered in what we've gone over today. It's crazy.
You know, the whole thing about rare earth minerals. People, hopefully, they spend a little bit more time worrying about that. Than
I do. I have something on that too.
Yeah.
So there is a law that's been passed that starts in 2027
Mm-hmm.
that it makes anything that the military produces that requires rare earth, they can't be they can't get them from any other countries. We have to make them here. So there is a solution in the works for what's going on. I just hope that we can get out of our own way and get these regulations pushed aside so that we can mine them or find them, produce them, and use them here.
They're in everything from your cell phones to
they're in
your
touchscreens,
smartphones.
TVs. They're in your cars. These magnets, these rare earth magnets,
Yep.
they're used in the missiles for guidance.
Absolutely.
I don't know how they're used in there, but I know that they're used in there.
I don't know about the manufacturing processes. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. I did want to talk about it was the new manufacturers, defense contractors who are coming online, specifically Anduril, that's running circles around Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman.
Well, Boeing's a joke.
Boeing is absolute terrible. It's terrible. I'm not a fan of Boeing. I used to be, but I used to joke when I was in Capitol Hill, they owed me 2 new suits because I was going around educating them on how screwed up their rocket was. And they'd come behind me and they couldn't say anything that I said was wrong. They would just attack and impugn my character.
They just get loud.
Yeah. And then they write $5,000 checks.
Right.
And so I always said that they owed me 2 new suits. So until they give me 2 new suits, I'm not talking about them. Brother, we got about a minute and a half left. And what I like to do during the last segment is brag on my wife, and you can brag on your wife. Go to Proverbs 31. Sweet Bee, she's in Honduras right now, ministering to the poor outside a garbage dump. And you brought up a proverb: "Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of those who are destitute." Right. And that's what we got to do. That's what WYAB does. But do so in a more godly way.
Yeah, I mean, that should be part of y'all's slogan. It should be on your building because that's what y'all do daily. Every show that comes on here, in some way or form, you're speaking for those of us who don't have a voice to say anything.
And the thing is this is just my own personal goal, and I think other hosts do it too. But I want to give as many opportunities to as many people as I can. And not just people who agree with me, but people who disagree with me.
We definitely don't agree on a lot.
And the thing about it is we got to do so in a way that is respectful. And at the end of the day, we could go have a pizza or a Diet Coke. Absolutely. But not today. I got to go to the VA.
Yeah.
But Sweet Bee, you're down in Honduras doing the do. We're so proud of you. Brother, you want to say something about you?
Hey, shout out to my family. Couldn't do it without them.
Nope. They're the glue that holds us all together, allows us to do what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Brother Rick. Caller, you hear him, you know him, you love him. Tomorrow we'll be back in about 22 hours. And until then, please continue to keep my wife in her prayers as she's down in Honduras. And until then, be blessed, everybody. Yes, and amen.